Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. Well, we don't normally start these reviews with the hood open looking at an engine, but this is not your normal engine. It's a 3.8 liter twin turbo Ferrari V8. Delivers 590 horsepower. But what you might be the most surprised about is where it's hidden. It's underneath the hood of a crossover, the Maserati Levante Trofeo. Let's go have a look at it. Everywhere we took the Maserati this week got lots of attention. Drove it on the road down to Snowden, Indiana, stayed in an inn, took some curvy two-lane roads, out in the middle of nowhere. And when you're driving a vehicle like this, going through little towns in southern Indiana, of course it gets attention. But take a look at it, and it's really easy to understand why. The Trofeo package has some very unique exterior upgrades that make it stand out even more. Things like the carbon fiber splitter down below, the black grille intake, 22-inch alloy wheels, which you'll see as you come around the side of it. But the rest of the body is exactly what you expect from Maserati. Just a nice flowing shapes, just really elegant and very sporty. Just sits down over the wheels, really down over, like it's just kind of hunched down over the wheels. More carbon fiber down below. Again, just really the full exterior treatment on this vehicle. This has the black window trim, just a little more of a subdued look. And you come around the back, you just get that wide exotic stance that you expect from a Maserati. Quad exhaust outlets, even more carbon fiber down below. Again, you can see where some of the money was spent in this vehicle. And Maserati is really well known for making grand touring vehicles. Cars you can get 2 to 4 people in, get your luggage in, and really take some distance. And the nice thing about this one is the power hatch. Of course, the luggage compartment is very well outfitted, nicely carpeted, aluminum runners, tie downs, all of that. But there's quite a bit of space back here. I took my family this weekend, we got all of our luggage in there, very comfortable, no problem. Like I said, the purpose of a grand touring car is to be able to get 2 to 4 people in it comfortably, add your luggage in, and be able to ride long distances. It's not typically what you think of in a sports car, and some people might criticize Maserati for building a crossover, but I think this vehicle suits Maserati very well, and it really starts with the interior. Everything is absolutely exquisite in here. The leather on the dash, the stitching, just the plushness of it, nice, thick, heated and cooled leather seats in the front. Everything's just exactly what you'd want. Everything feels expensive. Suede on the headliner, on the A-pillars. The material here, you can get carbon fiber, you can get wood. This is actually a metallic weave on the steering wheel and on the dashboard. Again, everything looks very, very nice. Clock in the middle, again, Maserati Touch. Has a Bowers & Wilkins audio system, 1280 watts. Sounds absolutely great. Just connect wherever you want and just enjoy it. Listen to everything from Alan Jackson to Susan Boyle this week, and it all sounded perfect. But some of the things that I really like about the interior might surprise you. A lot of the expensive crossovers, it's like the engineers think they have to have more dials and knobs than necessary to operate absolutely everything in it. And there's usually some joy wheel in the middle for the infotainment screen. And what Maserati did with this, as part of the Fiat Chrysler group, they basically used the same touchscreen that you would find in a Jeep Grand Cherokee or, one of the lower level Ram pickup trucks. But for me, it works absolutely fine. The Chrysler touchscreen is a benchmark, against all cars really. It's got easy use icons down below. You've got one for radio, your media, controls, all the active safety systems are here, and I'll talk about those in just a second. Auto stop start for the engine, climate control. You control the seats here. Everything's great. Navigation and your phone inputs. So again, very easy, just very easy to use icons, screen that's very simple to use. There is a volume knob down here and also a knob for tuning. Press one button, go right into browse mode for going through stations. So you can sit in traffic and just kind of cruise through, look at different stations, get what you want. I think that all just works great. No need to complicate things. Everybody wants to make these so complicated that you need a manual to figure it out. You don't need a manual for this. You go down the road, actually enjoy driving this car and focus on the driving at hand. I think that's fantastic. This does not have a heads-up display. I really wish it did have a heads-up display. I think that's a nice feature on a performance machine. But it does have a full array of safety equipment. You've got the forward collision warning system with auto brake, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. It's got an active blind spot system that adjusts the vehicle back into its lane or back away from objects. It's also got a lane centering system, rear cross path detection, round view monitor, full suite of safety systems. So you got a vehicle that's comfortable. It looks just absolutely beautiful, but it's comfortable enough for 4 people to get in it, got your luggage in it, and you can enjoy driving it because there's nothing really confusing inside once you get here. Well, no doubt about it, one of the most enjoyable parts about this is the Ferrari V8 engine. As I said at the beginning, it's a 3.8 liter twin turbo V8, delivers 590 horsepower, which is absolutely plenty in a vehicle this size. Gets you from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, and you can touch 189 miles per hour on a track, of course. Fuel economy, well, if you buy something like this, who the heck cares about fuel economy? But you get 14 miles per gallon in the city, 18 on the highway, so it really doesn't matter where you drive it. The thing is, you're just going to enjoy driving this. Got it on the 2-lane back roads, southern Indiana, and I'm pretty sure it drove it through towns that never heard the wail of a Ferrari V8 before. And people would turn and stare, and it just sounded great. And the reason is there's a Sport Corsa button that makes the throttle more sensitive, kind of tightens up the steering a little bit, but also just opens up the exhaust, and you just hear the full wail of that V8. It just sounds delightful. But along with that is an air suspension system. You can raise the vehicle up for off-roading. If you want to take a vehicle like this off-roading, it does that. You can also set it, for comfort, and just wafts down the highway, right? It's very nice. Of course, it's not gonna ride like the proverbial Cadillac, but I don't think you would want it to anyway. That's really not the point in this vehicle. The thing you do notice when you drive it, though, it feels like a heavy vehicle. This does not feel like a light aluminum sports car. It feels more like a Jeep Grand Cherokee that's been sported out. But I think that's okay. It feels safe. It feels nice. And again, even on the 2-lane roads we're really twisting through, you handle it well. You come over the crest of a hill, the suspension grabs it as you come back down. Very stable. And then just being in the car, it's really just a pleasant place to be. The seats are comfortable, they're supportive. But drove 4 hours. I'd get in it and drive it pretty much anywhere I'd want to. Might want to think about the price of gasoline, but somebody buys this doesn't really care about that. And overall, it's just really nice. The one thing I did say that I really wish it had was a heads-up display. And I think just in any sporting vehicle, but I think it's just nice to have the speedometer, the tachometer in front of your face. But it's just a delight. That engine is just great. When the Maserati Levante Trofeo came this week, I didn't know if I was going to get an expensive Jeep Grand Cherokee with a Ferrari engine or get a preview of the upcoming Ferrari crossover. And turns out it's somewhere in the middle. Performance-wise, it's right there with the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, although it's missing a few ponies. Is this a Ferrari? Absolutely not. But what Maserati's done is very cool. They've created a very comfortable Italian crossover with a legitimate Ferrari engine in the front of it, a car you can enjoy driving every day. Probably a nightmare to maintain over time, but that's all right. It's just a very nice car. So the one thing about this, though, you're going to have to ask yourself about is price. So you can buy a Levante starting at about $77,000. This one, as equipped, $170,380. So you're going to have to ask yourself, is that Ferrari engine worth, say, $90,000 to $100,000? But if it is to you, I think you're going to enjoy it very, very much. Well, next week we'll have another fun car. Probably not as fun as this one, but we'll see you then. Storm forward.